The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Okay, this is now the lead video in a new series called Reasoning Out Atheism. I'm trying to argue for atheism. I'm trying to come up with a construct that resolves a lot of the arguments that are made today, pro or con atheism. And I'm really trying to change the way not change the way we think about it, but I'm trying to offer an alternative way to think about atheism, because I think it's important. I think atheism is an important viewpoint that is a warranted viewpoint until you have proof otherwise. I really do. I always have. What depresses me about this whole debate between atheism and theism is that the arguments made tend to be polarized, and they tend to be stupid on both sides. It seems like both sides are very woefully uninformed about the issues, and so I'm trying to present a different set of issues that really are much more neutral in orientation. In other words, you don't have to demonize the other side. There's a third way of looking at things, which takes into account the arguments that everybody's making, but looks at them kind of differently on either side. And so to do that, I wanted to reason out, as if I didn't know the answers, what would the issues really be? So that's what this series is about. The Clearing the Air with Atheist video that I did earlier in the week is now going to be the second in this series, and you'll see later on in it, you have to go back to the video description now in it, or you can look in the video description here for subsequent episodes of this series. I'm leaving them as audio for now. A lot of people have an easier time listening to audio because they can right-click, use Save As, and then they can be in their car or on the bus or something and just listen to the audio instead of having to be at a computer. So that's why the links for the series are audio after this video and Clearing the Air. So the subsequent links to the series are all in this video description and also in the Clearing the Air with Atheist video description now. I hope that you find them useful. I am not trying to convert you to one side or the other. The objective really is to think out issues, not to take a position. You have to take a position in order to think out issues. But first you take a position on one side, and then you take a position on the other side. So here, in this series, I'm taking a position trying to argue for atheism. It's not going to seem like that sometimes. But that's really what I'm trying to do. Where does it end up? Well, it basically, the series conclusion ends up with another construct for evolution that would still look the way evolution looks to us today, but it has a different accounting for the start. And it's not conclusive. You can't be conclusive when you're talking about these things. And that's the way the series kind of ends to. It ends on what are the proper issues and the whole question of justice. And it doesn't really tell you how to conclude. You have to do that yourself. It's your life. And that's really the most important reason generating this series. I am not out to convince anybody of a given position. It's your life. It's not my life. I have to conclude it for myself. You have to conclude it for yourself. Right or wrong, it's your life. It's up to you what you decide you want to believe. Okay? And it would be dead wrong for you, I have to argue, it would be dead wrong for you to believe something because I say so, or because anybody says so. I don't care how many degrees a person has. whatever he says doesn't make it true. The best you can hope for when you're listening to somebody else talk is that you get some way of thinking about the issues. But you yourself are the one who decides if it's true. Okay? It's your life. So whatever anybody else says, however much expert they seem to you or not, that's still hearsay. In the final analysis, at the end of the day, you yourself are the only one who can decide what is true. And if there's a God, ideally, you want to know, and ideally, you look up at the ceiling and say, hey, you know, God, I need proof. I can't just hallucinate. I can't just go by what somebody else says. I need valid testimony. If you're really there, I really need valid testimony from you. That's a valid argument. Because you're the one who has to decide what's true. Because it's your life. And I hope that the audio helps you think through the issues, whatever you decide.